Hello there. So about a week ago, maybe a little bit more, I got access to the plugin for Photoshop, Dehancer Film, and it was kind of interesting. And I tell you true, at the beginning, when I was using, like, it's looked to me almost like any other stylization plugins, or you can create your own or other ones. But honestly, the more I use it during the week, I found this kind of almost a permanent place in my workflow, and I will explain why. First, let's look right here's a website, and you can see the price is $199. So $200 for plugin. It must be justified why you want to use this. And I want to actually look a little bit on my workflow, what I do, to explain why I think for professionals who do stylization, other things, this plugin worth it, and reason why it does. So let's go back to Photoshop, and right here I have it photo. I did retouching and overlay compositing over, so kind of in a jungle a little bit. I'll have a video how it's step by step done, but right now we focus just on other ones. So usually when I create this, and you can look, I have it additional steps, and I will repeat them where I have it color toning apply one way, I have it additional selective color, I have it also grain applied to this, all this, and plus adjustments otherwise. So what I do usually, let me close this one, and when I'm done kind of with compositing, I go to the last step where I want to add some mood, lighting mood, color mood, add some other elements. First, what I do is create new layer, and I will fill up this with 50% gray. Next, we're going to filter, noise, and we're going to add noise. Okay, usually 5%. We'll switch to soft light. Okay, I don't think I have it there under that plug. So let's go look closer. Reason why I add this. As I'm processing my photos and edit them, apply different filters. And what I was meaning by step, as it is like skin smoothing. Okay, let me disable this grain, and you can see, for example, grain, we have it one filter, painting brush, kind of smoothing out, blend in. I apply skin smoothing techniques a little bit to make it more portrait alike. Some additional, some areas I don't touch, and sometimes when I have it like sky, we can have it very high grain. So you'll start see this pixelizations quite a bit in some areas like noise, digital noise. So what does applying overlay noise? It's uniform. So now we have it overlay. You can see a little bit grain, which is uniform across all image, and it is blend a little bit better. It's removing this artificial smoothness of one areas and roughness another one. So it's kind of help us. I was playing with different settings. I found 5% on the monochrome type noise work most times. Sometimes I may need to reduce, but again, that is one of the step. And of course, depending on the image, you need play going with grain, adjust all the stuff. And the one thing you need to keep in mind, it's a uniform grain. So what I was meaning, if you're going to filter, we don't apply again, but we'll look, add noise. And as we look, it does create a little bit random noise, but it is a flat noise. Flat, it's mean white, black, little bit maybe grayish, but again, in a 2D environment, 3D will represent by luminosity levels. It's where we can determine the shapes kind of faking for us. So in monochrome, about 5%. So this is usually it's what I applied. So after this, we'll go create a new layer by combining or visible. It's again my personal workflow. Yours may be a little bit different, but I found it's worked very well for me. And when it's creating, we go filter, Filterforge, and let's go to Filterforge 11. We open this, and I have it my plugin that I build. If you're not familiar with Filterforge, it is like thousands, maybe tens, hundreds, I don't know how many. It's tons of different filters. It's user created filters, You can also go inside and let me show you very fast right here. So we open the filter. This is this specific, and you can see how the process image coming. It's almost like workflow. So I built this filter for myself, phototone, because I can very fast going and apply different coloring mode very fast to simulate it. As well, because I like to work with traditional photos and other stuff. Sometimes I apply over also photo papers, and this is different type of the simulation. I think this is a monobrom, so it's a different type of the papers I gone over. And it was take a little bit time, but again, just different bromochrome. This one I think it's a little bit greenish out there, but point is this. So I go right there and I'll go select which one will go in the, of course you can go in the settings, apply here as well, just maybe a little bit warmer, and when you're done click apply. So it's take this step, apply colorization to this. Most time colorization can be very strong, so we'll use it opacity in a second. Okay, and going modified, maybe just a little bit less in this case. It does produce very nice saturation, produce very interesting look, stylization look. And of course after this I'm usually don't like total crush black on this, so we'll go to selective colors on this case. We're going to the black, take a little bit black down, and maybe stylizing just slightly as well on the black, a little bit on the neutral. Let's pop up a little bit to yellow. So you can see it take a little bit time, you know, to adjust. After this we're going to create let's go to curves. Okay, we're going to take the curve down. Let's zoom out, create marquee tool, just a little bit of the corner, so we can create internal, like select inside. Okay, and we're going to fill up with the black color, go to the curves, add feathering to this. Maybe around here, feathering. You can see just a vignetting, and switch to the soft light. So about this step, sometimes I may going even inside the colors or some other areas and so on. So you can see it is several steps. And when I'm calculating on the steps, it take maybe about 5, 6, 7 minutes to process those per step. And I did wrote macro, which is kind of work through all these filters. But sometimes if I don't like it, my problem is like I need to go to the Filterforge and create different. So I cannot. So in this case, reasons why I cannot. If I create new layer, combine all of them because it need apply Filterforge work on. And if we're going to filters, we'll look on a Filterforge right here. I can apply it, but it's a non-reversible. I need to undo a lot of stuff if I want to reverse that effect on a filter. I cannot go and modify, like for example anaric or other things. The one way you can do it's convert to the smart object, that layer, and after tried, but problem is in Filterforge does not work with smart objects, so it does not work in this case. Let's see with a Dehancer, it's work a little bit different now for me. So let's look again, and this is what helped me with. I'm going to create new layer. Actually, you know what, I have this enabled, so let's go to delete this one, hide. There you go. So we'll just begin from, okay, right there. Let me go open. Okay, Control Shift Alt E. It will take all visible layers and create a brand new layer for us. So right here, let's go call it Dehancer DH, just so we know this. And now I can go and apply Dehancer at this moment, but I found if I want to go back and modify, we can convert this to the smart object. Okay, And in Smart Object, we actually will start saving steps, and we can just go directly on that step and modify it. And instead creating all of those layers, I can go just Filter, Dehancer, and run Dehancer Film. So it will start simulating. In some cases, the coloring, what I was creating in the Filterforge, it does work as the scenic curve. It's what I call it. Is cold blue, bright warms, kind of like this. And you can see right here we have our sets already ready, created for us. It's look like a film, so it's saved a lot of time. Let's go over options that what we have. Right here in the source, we have our temperature color. So if we need a warmer color, colder. The fringe, we don't necessarily need it because this will take edge and kind of remove this purplish cyan colors of this. Usually it's happened because if we have distortion on the lens and anything, but because my workflow going over in Camera Raw where I do that, so I don't need kind of worried about this. We'll just leave it on the 0. A black point, if you remember when I create in selective colors, and this is what where we can control on the black point. If we want to go darker or brighter, if you want crush black or whatever, usually we can go minus 0.1. So we'll just go a little bit off crush black. And usually I've done this for the prints, because if you go and send to the printer, posters, other things, they don't like crush black. You need a bit. Same with the white point. We don't want absolutely white, so we'll just set let's go right here. So we'll just set 99 on a white point. Okay, print, we could actually going with the simulation print, but we'll skip this. Color head, if you do print, if you use the normal printing projector and other stuff, and you'll have a different colors you need project. I don't know if you're familiar with traditional photography or not with color traditional photography, but you will have different filters, and depend on model what you have it. You may have it 3 different color light bulbs, or usually you just have it the filters, gel filters, you just replaced on different. But overall here you have it control, and you can see it is opposite yellow, blue, magenta, green, and cyan red, similar. So you can actually modify a little bit on a coloring global toning. So for example, if I want to go a little bit warmer, I can create here. We have it also preserve exposure, or you want change. The reason is when you change colors and other things, you may change intensity on specific channel. And if you're familiar in the image, whatever we see image right now in Photoshop, whatever they're producing, we have 2 channels on, well, 2 main information channels, we can say. It's a color information and it's luminosity information. One, it's tell you how bright or dark specific point, and another one says from 3 colors on monitor RGB, red, green, blue, it's how much intensity of this one. Technically your white color come from all 3 colors, how much they're going together, but for the sake of the applications, we separate kind of like that. So you have it intensity, luminosity level, and you have it colors on this. Okay, and we won't go technical about different monitors. Okay, OLED versus LCD versus this, so edge lighting and so on. So we won't go about all this technical. General, think about this. 2 things: luminosity, black, dark, it's give it a shape, and color, just give it a smooth additional information. Okay. Let's go next. Film grain. This is what kind of more interesting to me, and it's better because other ones, if you remember, I created grain level there. We can just one single click and you can see we create a grain. Grain is very, by default, is very, very intensive here because it does simulating, and this is sure simulating by the size. Would be nice if the film grain was simulating presets based on ISO level, because 100 ISO will have it lower grain, and as you're going pop up ISO level, your crystals inside the film increase in size, so is your grain as well. But if you treat right there, we can put it 0.2 on the size of the grain. That should actually a little bit minimize. Also, you notice it's going in a color grain, and personally I like a little bit more black and white. It's my personal opinion, but for you, you can modify whatever if you want a little bit color. Also notice right here we have it quite a bit grain. We can go and modify, and this is what I say about 3 difference. We have it shadows, highlights, we have it all is different variants, so it's not just a single. And right here you can see I just reduce some of this and grain become very nice and very pleasant. Colorization is going around, and you can notice we will have some purple offset. I'm not necessarily a big fan of this in this particular case. However, when we did Cyberpunk or other ones, that may work very well for you. And I just add a little bit hollows outside and bloom a little bit. I won't say inside outside on this case, but it will take brighter points. I will kind of distribute lights around them, which is add softness. For example, when I do like angel wings or other things, and I do like leave it bloom on, but you need to be careful how much you add, because it's could creating too soft. Okay, you start losing details. But again, we'll leave it as default. And there you go. We have another ones that I used vignetting. So we can go click on the vignetting here. And problem with vignetting, it is a little bit harder. So I usually, okay, let's go to reduce feathering. So we'll take feathering off, and you can preview where it's located. So let's go ahead, exposure. Right there you can see how it's done. Okay, expect. It's, remember I did square, so we can adjust as well. And let's take exposure and the feathering. So there you go. We can add vignetting. If you go every time through all these presets, it may take a little bit time for you to do this. Okay. However, the best parts about, if you're going to the presets, you can see I have already done. So we can add new preset, whatever you want it. Okay, let's go right here, open, and there you go. Now, if we need it, we can go ahead, the new preset, there you go. Okay, so we can go and we can set this new presets, just double time, click on them, similar what we've done before. Only now in one case, I don't need to create all of these layers. It's done in one. Okay, let's go click OK to apply it. And notice it is smart object created and filters behind. So if for some reason I'm not maybe happy with some coloring, I can go click on my filter options, and that will open my filter where I can go and modify if I want it. Okay, so we can go back to presets and change from this point as I need it. It does have a couple, how to say, plus and minuses a little bit with because you'll need create definitely the smart filter if you want to non-destructive type of the coloring. It's not exactly the same. You need pop-up, maybe saturation if you want it, but it is doable inside the Dehancer. Next things you notice right there, when I open, it does not detect my state of the current. So it just open like filter. Okay, you can reapply it. And if you was tweaking before and don't have it like in a preset, you can see the problem, what's happening. It's meaning I need to reapply again, do all this stuff. So you still, at least if you have some presets saved, maybe you can come back after and modify. But how to say, it's a little bit adjustments. Also, let's go like colorization a little bit more. For example, apply to these, and you can see we can go play with tonal contrast. A bit on the whites, come on. There you go. And our saturation can apply it. So keep it in mind, this tool is not color correct. It's not the kind of mood. You cannot total going and modify colors like you can do in another areas. You cannot just go crazy and berserk with colors. It is focused on creating these film profiles, taking closer to the actually existing film type or print types and apply to them. So it's have their own niche, but again, for me, because time savings is how fast I can right now just click with those ones. I can apply over and over very fast. So for me, I don't need skip these levels. And now let's go back to the pricing. It's what I was saying before. And you'll notice price is $1.99. Does it worth for you? They do have a trials. You can upload it, try it. But I'm going to this point. If how much I'm charged per hour. Okay, if I'm processing so many photos per hour and I spend on those steps, even when I have to automate it, because I sometimes just create automatically those layers in my macro, so it just will pre-create for me the already layers. I can go inside and just adjust them. But again, with automation, let's say it saved me 5 minutes, okay? And 5 minutes, I need process maybe about 20 photos to pay off the price for this plugin. So it's saving time. I mean, I can process much faster, do other ones when I edit. This is just to justify price. But again, it's up to you. Overall, in the end, I'll say I was actually nicely surprised about this. It's nice, very good plugin. Give it a very easy to create this true film color. And as I said before, I created many photos during this past week, and you can see it was quite a bit fun actually to work with this. And Dehancer was part of this workflow, so it was kind of played very well to try. And you definitely can see the Dehancer using in some of the shots. As I said before, it was part of this process of creating a themed look, film kind of nice look. I hope this video it's helped you to have a look on a Dehancer. I will have it more video, my workflow, for example, how I create this look with all compositing with all steps later out. And you can see as I will go and use the Dehancer part of this workflow, you see how it's involved in that. Of course, it's not magic wand solution, so you need to understand it as a tool that help you to create a better express what you can see, you know, to make easier work for you. And it's not one exclusive tool, because you can create everything that Dehancer does, you can create on your own. It just save you time and it save you on the steps, and most important is give you consistent result. Okay, so because you used one presets and those one is very consistent, they will apply quite a bit nicely. Thank you for watching this video. If you find it useful for you, please give it thumbs up, subscribe, put it some notes for their messages. Let me know your comments, what do you think about this, and I appreciate your time.